This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, Lowco sports fans, welcome to another edition of the Lowco Sports Lowdown. I am Justin Jarrett, joined as always by Wes Kerr, and we are talking sports here in the South Carolina Lowcountry, mostly high school sports, but we got some college stuff on the docket today, Wes, because we've got our guy Nick Pringle making his debut for the Crimson Tide up at Alabama, as well as all kinds of signing day news from a bunch of kids around the Lowco who are making it official where they're going to play at the next level. So we'll be talking about that a little bit, but also some high school football news, another state championship, actually sort of two, an individual and a team title for Hilton Head High tennis, and who the Lowco contenders are going to be in this week's state championship cross-country races as well. So a lot to get to, and we're going to talk to that state champ, Emily Ruckno, as well. But Wes, how you holding up this week? We're back in this wild, weather-driven football week. We're not used to doing this late in November, but here we are in tropical storm mode again as we get ready for Friday and Saturday night football, and we even had a game on Wednesday.
Yeah, kind of deja vu of what we saw a couple weeks ago, late September, early October. But back to this weird weather week here as Tropical Storm Nicole comes through the Lowco. And you mentioned already one game in the books. Unfortunately, Bluffton season coming to an end, the 50-0 loss to North Sellers and the South Florence Bruins. What a year it was for Hayden Gregory in his first year as head coach for the Bluffton Bobcats. A lot more good to come from that team. But some big news across the area here in this Lowco sports universe as we inch closer to winter sports. Not many fall sports left here. I mean, we just got cross country, tennis is in the books now. We'll talk about our double state champions over there for Hilton Head High, but yeah, I'm enjoying things. Things have been going well, and getting ready for another big weekend of football here. I'll be heading out to BA College and Prep to see that matchup. And thankfully, we should be good to go on Friday. I cannot wait to see that game rematch on Ladies Island, the winner to the Skeeza 2A championship game. Last meeting was a thriller 3 weeks ago, 20-19 in favor of the BA Eagles, stopping a 2-point try to clinch the game. And what we see this time with everything on the line. So should be a crazy one over at BA. We also got Beaufort hosting Crestwood and a couple games on the road, and Estill also at home this week against Carter's Bay. So a few playoff home games on tap, and then we'll be able to have a weekend away with some friends, which I'm very excited about that. And then right after that, we got I'll be back for championship weekend in Skeeza. So we'll have most likely we'll have one guaranteed because the Carlton Prepper BA will be there, and then Thomas Hayward with a great chance to punch their ticket as well if they can take down Calhoun Academy. So chance for two Skeeza teams to compete for state championships next week, but so excited on the football front there, and you guys just closed out to your youth baseball season this past weekend. But I've heard you're keeping the cleats on to play some baseball of your own with our good friend and correspondent Dylan Price.
Yeah, I actually recruited Dylan to join the Lowco Sand Fleas, and he stepped right in as our cleanup hitter and ace pitcher, as 19-year-olds who are still in shape from playing high school baseball or want to do in our league, and we're having a good time. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I got a couple hits the other night. Went 0 for 1 with the walk the last game, so I think I'm like slashing like 250. 440, 455, 250 or something. So, that's not bad for a 44-year-old. Catching most of them hit to me in center. But we had a great time this weekend. We got humbled a little bit, went 1-3, but getting a win was huge. We went up to Atlanta to Lake Point PBR tournament and saw some really serious competition. 2 of our 3 losses were to the eventual champs. And the scores did not look competitive, but they were far more competitive than the scores really indicated. We were, a few plays away from being pretty even with some really good teams, and obviously you can't give them those extra outs and things. And but we got to see that firsthand, how quickly that can snowball against a good team. And then we got one win in bracket play to get another shot at the champs or the eventual champs, and played them even tougher the second time. So. It was a great weekend. We got to see what it looks like and see that, we're not that far away in some ways, while in other ways we got a ways to go. So good stuff. And I just want the kids to be able to keep playing as long as they want to play. Cause I felt like I wasn't done yet when I ran out of track, and now I'm getting a chance to play again, even at, a recreational level. it's really fun. So I want to give these kids a chance to play as long as they can. But it's been a great time playing that men's league, and Dylan's been a great addition. I hope we can get some more guys we covered in high school to come out and play with us, because the young guys are good.
He threw a complete game in his debut.
He sure did. It was impressive. He's a competitor for sure. He's getting his swing sorted out still. He hit a rocket the other night right at the center fielder. That was frustrating for him, but he's a great athlete, and it's been fun to play with him and get to see that side of him, because he's still a competitor. It definitely comes out. But we got some big news on the football coaching front. We had one coaching change already with Colleton County, Chris Howell out there, and then Rodney Summers announced after the loss to Myrtle Beach that he's stepping down. He's retirement eligible through the state school system. He does run a fishing charter on the side already. This is something that, has been talked about for a while now, that it was going to come sooner than later, most likely. And, after I think what was probably a little bit of a frustrating season, Rodney decides that now's the time. And so big news, definitely. And definitely we've seen our follower count ticking up since we broke this news the other day. We always get a lot of coaches following, whether it's because they're interested in the job or they want to see who gets it and dominoes that fall, whatever it is. People are very interested in high profile coaching positions in the state, and May River definitely qualifies. I mean, that's a team that's only a couple years removed from being in a lower state championship game, with a population growth center. There's a lot to like about this job, and I think it's going to attract some really good candidates.
Yeah, I agree. But first of all, I mean, Rodney Summers stepping down after a remarkable 7-year run as the head coach of the Sharks, and he was the only coach they've ever had. He built that program from the ground up, and then in year 4, they went all the way to the lower state championship game. So that is not easy to do, and then Summers did a terrific job and really laying the foundation and elevating the Shark team to a power in Class 3A. And yeah, he really laid the foundation and elevated this team to a powerhouse in Class 3A. Eventually, they went to 4A and finished the record of 41-32. They won 2 region titles, and of course, they had that lower state final appearance back in 2019 when they lost to Dillon. But he sent many studs off the college level, most notably Ahmad Green, their 4-year quarterback, who was just a huge catalyst for the program. One of the best athletes that we've seen come through here in the last few years, and really enjoyed watching his compete out there and just that talent, athleticism. And he has done a remarkable job building that program, Summers has. But there will be a new coach at the take next year, and I agree with you. I got to think this is going to be a very attractive job for some highly prestigious coaches throughout the state and beyond. It's a team that's developed sustained success over the last few years. You mentioned a couple region titles, getting to that lower state title game just a few years back, 3 years ago. So, and I agree, Bluffton, I think it is a growing metropolis in the sense that we continue to see more families and more people move down here, and that's really increased the level of notoriety and level of success in athletics. So I expect the Bluffton to continue to be booming over these next few years, and it just speaks to how a big potential this program could continue to be in the coming years. So I think a lot of quality candidates we should see competing for this job, which I think could even further strengthen that rivalry between May River and the up and coming star, in my opinion, in Bluffton coach Hayden Gregory.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, because I think that kind of sets the tone for this hire a little bit. Bluffton kind of made a risky, if you want to call it that, a splashy hire. With a young guy who didn't have the head coaching experience, and it has clearly paid off already. I mean, I think they're trending in the right direction. There is excitement around that program that hasn't existed for a while. So what does May River do? Do they kind of go with the status quo and go with someone on the inside, because they have a very, a highly qualified coaching staff with several guys who look the part, or do they get attractive enough candidates outside that they don't risk the chemistry of that coaching staff by hiring an internal candidate, instead go with somebody who's kind of clearly head and shoulders above the internal candidates? And I think there will be some resumes like that in the pile that you go, oh wow, if we can get this guy here, that's the guy. So it'll be interesting to see which direction they go. Do they feel like the direction they're going is what they want the future to be, or are they looking to shake things up a little bit? So, and then what if they do shake it up? What does that do to the staff? How many guys stay? How many look elsewhere? So, it's anytime you make a coach hire, there's a lot on the line. There's a lot to consider, and it's going to be interesting to follow that process and see how it plays out. But and we may have more openings down the road. The dominoes start to fall. There are already openings all over the state. You never know when somebody's going to hop over somewhere else, and that might down the road affect us. So, but let's shift gears over to tennis, because Wes, we got the state champs in our midst once again. Your Seahawks, your alma mater. They got I don't know how many this is. You probably do know how many state championships this is. It's quite a few, especially for Jennifer Weidecamper, who's had a really good run there. And our girl Emily Ruckno, who we got on later in the show, gets the individual title as well. So what a great week for Seahawk tennis.
Yeah, what a fantastic season it's been. Congratulations to Hilton Head, and back on top for the first time since 2019. And you mentioned Weidecamper has been there for a while, was part of most of those years when they won 6 in a row back in the late 2000s and early 2010s, and that dynasty that we used to see for Hilton Head. And picking up a 5-2 win over Greenville, and how sweet it must be for this team. And Weidecamper, and especially Emily Ruckno, who won not just one, but 2 state titles, because she not only won the state championship in the team level, but she also took the Class 4A, 5A state singles tournament, finally getting it done in her senior year. And what a way to cap it off. An extraordinary career as a Seahawk, and actually not officially done yet because she'll be playing some basketball this winter, but we're going to hear from her a little later in the show. But what a special group this team has been. They sweep Lucy Beckham, who was the team that came out of nowhere, a newcomer to the region, and was standing in their way their last few years. Lost to them in the playoffs in 2020 and 2021, but they get them 3 times this year, including in that lower state championship. And then they finish the job against Greenville. They win the closer, as Dabo Swinney would say over at Clemson. They get the wins from Haley Poplin and K.S. Kersey. They have both been stellar in that playoff run. Ruckno, she gets it done on court 1 in double bagel fashion. And how about that doubles team? Second doubles. They finish it off. Good for them. I mean, you just love to see those girls who may not get the most attention work together and get that clincher. What a feeling that must have been for them, for those two, and that the entire team. And then Ruckno builds on it and gets another state title. She takes down Brooke Rogers of Saukesty to win the state singles in 4A, 5A. So 2 separate classifications. That's really impressive. And, I think the difference for her this time, and she knew this in the interview, was having her teammate Haley Poplin alongside her throughout this run. I mean, they actually played each other in the tournament, but they were there together to warm each other up, to cheer each other along. And I think that was the spark that put Ruckno over the top this time. And I couldn't have asked for a better capper to her high school career. And I think this tennis team is going to be in great hands going forward with Haley Poplin. Emily's younger sister, Alyssa, should be right back in the state title mix next year. But just a tremendous run from a team that believed in each other and really dug deep to climb their way back to the top. So congratulations, Emily, and congratulations to the Seahawks, 4A state champs.
Yeah, it was neat to see, how much Emily really put stock in the team experience and the team chemistry, and how much they were really, devoted to the team, because it's not always like that in an individual team sport like golf or tennis. They don't always have that camaraderie. So I do think it mattered. I think they played for each other more than some teams do in an individual team sport like that. And that shows through in the interview. So, check that out when you get to the end of the show here. Pay attention to that. There's definitely they care for each other and they played for each other. And, I think you would probably say that the same's kind of true in cross country. You all go through the same things, and it takes everybody to win as a team. And so you really do, live and die with each other. So, and that's a great segue to cross country, because your Hilton Head boys won their heat, a terrific showing from them. Both Bluffton teams finished second. And then we had some great individual showings as well, including Jessie Richardson at Whale Branch. She was at CBC last year over in Beaufort and did great in Skiza, but showing out in High School League 1A winning his heat and finishing second, having the best second best time overall. And Gavin Moore, a great run as well. And of course, Anya Arroyo. So fill us in, Wes, on all the stars on the cross country course.
Yeah, excellent performance by runners. Anya Arroyo continues to just show off what a career that she's put together over at May River, 19:05.41 to take runner up in her heat. Each classification they had an odd and even two separate heats with different schools, and then they kind of stack up and will decide which teams, in terms of the top teams, will qualify for the state meet. But Hilton Head get it done as well. They won their heat, 4 in the top 23. Terrific depth from the Seahawks squad. Caden Thune leading the way with a 17:14. JD Gilman, yet another Gilman star here on the island, the 17:25 for 11th place. Miles Brown also in the top 15 of the 17:31. So excellence throughout the lineup for the Seahawk team, the boys. But right behind them, Bluffton's boys, second in the odd heat. Erlon Baker in front of the 16:50. That was good for 4th overall. And then Cooper Anderson, Boyd Collins also in the top 20. And Bluffton's girls also second in their heat. And the incredible thing about them is how young they are. Top 3 finishers were all freshmen or younger, including Elise Hunt, a freshman in 8th place with 20:33. And 7th grader Giada Cargay in 11th with a 20:57, right in front of freshman Aubrey Sampson. So if these girls continue to develop over these next years, I think this Bobcat team could be very good in the future for going forward. So great stuff for both Bobcat squads. Cynthia Gudaitis leading the way in 10th for Hilton Head. They take 5th for the team, and Caitlin Dybert following up a Royal for May River. Strong performance for her as well. And then over in 3A, Gavin Moore, the young stud for Beaufort, just keeps getting better. Moore takes 3rd in this heat, 4th overall for 16:43.82. Eagles place 7th, and they qualify. So Moore's fantastic time, enough to set his team to states, although they got some solid depth finishers from Xavier Lacefield, Connor Eby, all sub 19:30 times, and then Andrew Caprio and Riley Corbin with sub 20s. And we know how much every point from those bottom runners count towards getting that spot. And obviously Moore was a star, but some of those other guys really delivered to make that happen. And then a few other individual standouts here in the Lowco. Sophia Felix from Battery Creek and Jesse Richardson pulling out to a win. Richardson does for Whale Branch with a 17:32, second best time of the day in 1A boys. So excellent job for Richardson coming over to Whale Branch and excelling in 1A cross country. And these Warriors continue to find guys and excel in both track and cross country. Love to see that. A lot of talent over there in Seabrook. And both Felix and Richardson also qualify as individuals for the state meet. So congrats to those two. And then David McDivitt with a strong 19:46. He gets a sub 20 time for Bridges Prep. And then Elise Thompson with a 22:40. But both teams miss out on qualifying, but still strong effort there for the Bucks. So excellent weekend for our Lowco runners. And so the state championship times have changed a little bit due to Tropical Storm Nicole. Class 1A will still go on as scheduled on Thursday. So they'll be going the day we are recording this. And then 3A, 4A will be on Saturday, which was the traditional day in the past. But the events have since moved to Friday. So back Saturday this year. And what an opportunity for Anya Arroyo, Gavin Moore, and then Hilton Head's boys, who I think could be contenders. And then those two Bluffton teams to make some noise. So you look at Hilton Head, you look at Bluffton, boys and girls, both with all of them with strong performances in this state qualifier. And so they can see if they can replicate that and do it again and look to put up some strong finishes and bring home some hardware.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what Richardson can do with somebody running ahead of him, somebody to chase, because he won his heat by like a minute and was, I think a little less than a minute slower than the other guy who won the other heat. So, with somebody to chase, he's probably got a little bit more in the tank, and I want to see how low he can go, see if he can chase that guy down. So that'll be really interesting. Like you said, Hilton Head boys are right there in the mix. And, it's going to be that fifth runner and maybe even that sixth runner who ends up deciding it. So going to be a great race on Saturday. Wish I could be there. That's going to be, it should be a beautiful day too. After the storm moves through, the weather's always just fantastic. So should be fabulous up there. Let's talk a little hoops, man, because it's basketball season. Not quite high school basketball season yet, very soon, but the college guys are firing it up. And Nick Pringle, unfortunately, got in a little foul trouble the other night. He had 4 fouls, and they've got so much depth that, they're not going to be able to play everybody every night. So if you get in foul trouble, you're going to get buried on the bench. But he did have 4 points and 4 boards in pretty limited action. So active out there. And, I'm expecting a huge season for him. I think the playing time may ebb and flow a little bit as they figure out their rotation. But, he's going to be a force. And it's exciting to see him, taking that next step up.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to make your Alabama debut, Nick Pringle. Certainly, you didn't want to have so many fouls called on you, but when he was in the game, strong, really great showing to start off his career for the Crimson Tide. He got 11 minutes against Longwood, 2 for 2 from the field for 4 points, including an eye-popping dunk, first of many, in my opinion, for Pringle over there at Bama. And he grabbed 4 rebounds, also those 4 fouls in a very short time on the floor. So you mentioned maybe even played a little more if he didn't get the foul trouble, but still a very strong debut for Pringle. He just looks like a different guy, different player, and a more athletic player at the SEC level, more energized, more athletic, and he just really risen to the challenge. And once again, you mentioned, we've talked about this throughout his journey, but I mean, he bet against himself and he won. We talked about that since I remember when he was first coming up as that star at the high school level, going into his senior year when he picked up that big offer at the time and committed to go to Wofford and didn't like it there, ended up going to the JUCO route and absolutely shine there, and then earned the opportunity to go over to one of the premier programs in the country in Alabama. And he has found himself a heck of a role here. And, certainly a guy that, coming from Seabrook, Whale Branch, a very small 1A school. I mean, what an unbelievable job that he has done to just stay the course and believe in himself. And look where he is now, performing for one of the top teams in the country. So, I mean, I think this Alabama team, in my opinion, has the talent to compete for an SEC title. So watch out when he goes up against your Mizzou Tigers this year.
Oh yeah, I'll be rooting for Nick Pringle. I mean, I'll be rooting for Mizzou, but I'll be rooting for Nick Pringle more than anything. I don't think it's going to be much of a season for the Tigers. I got more invested in Nick this year, yeah, I think Alabama's they're way up there in the SEC. They may be the best team in the SEC on paper, at least. I mean, they're stacked. This recruiting class was really good. It's going to be fun to see what Nate Oates can do with them. But well, Wes, we were both out at signing day. Speaking of playing at the next level, we were both out at signing day events yesterday. I got over to May River, and you were at Hilton Head Prep and Hilton Head High. I was supposed to be at Bluffton today, but the tropical storm messed that up. Alyssa Rose committing to USCB, Parker Ray to Embry-Riddle, and Katie Ryan to King University for the Bobcat softball program. So whenever that is rescheduled, we'll get out there. But we both have reports from our signing day events. So let's go to the video. We've got Wes's report from Hilton Head Prep and Hilton Head High, and my report from May River here on the LowcoSports Lowdown. We'll just insert those pieces. That'll be perfect. Well, Wes, I know you always really enjoy attending the signing day events, and I do too, just to see the pure joy and a little bit of relief and excitement for the future on those days, because we know very well how long those kids have had those dreams and worked so hard to get there, and then to reach the finish line and know that your future in the sport is secured. Just a terrific day for friends, family, classmates, teammates, coaches, everybody involved, and always leaves you with a smile on your face when you leave the gym.
Yeah, no better feeling for those kids when they put pen to paper and sign to play at the next level. It's a culmination of years of training, hard work, competition, and to see that opportunity become reality for these young men and young women is just a very special feeling. And one of my favorite, I always say it, but one of my favorite opportunities is as a LowcoSports journalist, writer, and producer to be able to talk about and write about these young people who have achieved those dreams that they've worked so hard to reach. So really proud of all of these young men and women, and what an awesome signing day. And great to talk to Sean Cusano, officially heading to Chattanooga, and I think he could have some big things coming for him. And I'm really excited for the Hilton Head Prep Dolphins basketball team. Of course, Cusano's going to be a monstrous component of that squad. Physical player, can score in the paint, rebound, and can lock you down on defense. But I think Hilton Head Prep's one of the beneficiaries of this new SCISA realignment. They won't have to play First Baptist or Cardinal Newman, some of those powerhouses they had to go through last year in 3A when there was only 3 classifications. But, obviously J.J. Hayes is going to be a massive loss. What a leader he was during his time as a Dolphin. And, of course, they lose their head coach and Jerry Faulkner. who was an absolute legend. And great to see him back in the building. He stepped down, of course, at the end of last year, but got to do a quick interview with him and talk about Sean. And he had some very high praise for Cusano. And I'm really excited to see what he does and what this team does, because, I think this team has the talent to compete for a state championship. They still have Andrew Helms and Kane Eanes coming back alongside Cusano. So I think we could see some big things in store for this Hilton Head Prep Dolphins basketball season. And, if you can believe it, Skis of Basketball starts next week. So it's about that time to start firing up the Lowco Hoops Report, because winter sports are right around the corner. But so a lot more signings, and wanted to shout out those other 5 prep academy athletes, because I think it's great to celebrate those athletes as well for all that they've done and the commitments that they have made to their sports. And a lot of them going to some really highly regarded academic schools like Williams College, Middlebury College, for where Nikki Conda Murray is going. Fantastic academic school up in Vermont. So we're up there with one of the Ivies in quality Northeast private schools. So and a lot of these kids have really put in the work, both athletically and academically, and you have to get into these high quality academic institutions. So great to see all of these young men and women who kind of slip under the cracks a little, because a lot of them play outside of high school athletics, but they're all talented and hardworking, and they're great students. And once again, you have to be great in the classroom and out of the classroom to get those opportunities.
Yeah, you're right. They do kind of fly under the radar, because they kind of compete in different circles and often far flung, and we don't always know all the things they're doing, but and we don't even know who they are in a lot of cases. They're some of them are boarding students from overseas, and but it's really a cool thing, both in tennis and in golf, to see at the end of their careers, these students who come here to train for these sports and where they're going, and to think about what they're going to go and do in the world, whether it's in their sport or something else, when they go to these, prestigious academic institutions and get a great education. So it is absolutely something we're celebrating, and we always enjoy doing it, and we'll continue to do so. So let's take a break and hear from our sponsors, Wes, and then we'll be right back to talk with Emily Ruckno, the double state champ from the Seahawk tennis team, here on the LowcoSports Lowdown.
This podcast is made possible by our sustaining sponsors. Our original sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate attorneys of LowcoSports.com. Go see Ryan and Tiffany and the Mickle Squad for all your legal needs, and support the local businesses that support Lowco. Local Pie, official pizza sponsor of Lowco Sports. They sling the best pies in Bluffton and on Hilton Head, but don't sleep on the mac and cheese.
Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, the official hospice provider of Lowco Sports. For more than 30 years, the committed, compassionate staff at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry has provided a community-based, nonprofit solution to ensure everyone finds comfort, honor, and dignity at the end of life.
Star Home Services, official residential cleaning service of Lowco Sports. Sometimes you just don't want to clean. Call on Carla and her amazing team to do the dirty work at a great price, and tell them Lowco sent you. 843 Sport, the official training center of Lowco Sports. No matter your game, 843 Sport is the place to take it to the next level. They're bringing all the area's top trainers and some of the best elite travel teams from various sports under one roof at 843 Sport. DDS Web Design, the official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. If you have a business and you want to get found, look no further than DDS. They can build an attractive and effective website loaded with all the cutting-edge SEO tools you need to show up where people are looking, on Google. Dave and Denise will get it done. Additional support provided by Cannon Specialty Services, Bluffton Pest Control, Next Move, The Fit Club in Belfairtown Village, and our Patreon members. Join today for $1 or more per month at patreon.com/LowcoSports to get early or exclusive access to our local sports content and exclusive Lowco swag.
All right, Lowco sports fans, we are thrilled now to be joined by one of the very first guests we had on the podcast way back in the day, Wes, back when we didn't know what we were doing. I'm not sure we still do, but we look a little bit more like we know what we're doing now, and hopefully we won't have to record this one twice, Emily. Emily Ruckno joins us now. She is the newly minted state singles champion of South Carolina after a couple of runner-up finishes the past 2 years, and a state champ as a team again for the Seahawks. So, Emily, just reflect for us a little bit. First of all, congratulations, but reflect reflect a little bit on, this past month or so and the whirlwind that it's been, going and winning a state championship with your team, and then finishing off that state singles title for the first time as well to wrap up your high school career.
It was awesome. If I look back and remember the first day for tryouts, all the girls came in with smiles on their faces, and everybody came in like, yeah, let's do this year. This is going to be a good year. And I'm really proud of all of them for putting in all the work.
Emily, congratulations. What a remarkable finish to an incredible high school career, pulling out not just the team win, but also a state singles victory. What did it mean to do both, and just the span of a couple days, winning with your team and then find a way to pull out that win individually? It had to be a special moment for you on both of these occasions.
I tried to think about one at a time because I know it was kind of back to back, but kind of Friday going up with the team and kind of sitting there, we all stood together. We all kind of prepared together. We went to bed early, and just going in we were just really solely focused on the team states, and that came first. And then after that, it was really exciting to win. But going back up Sunday, it was also really nice knowing that I got to bring a teammate with me this year. That made everything so much more fun. We went out to meals together, and I had a warm-up partner, and it was just nice knowing that I wasn't just there for myself. I got to go off court and go cheer for a teammate, and I had something else to kind of think about. So, I mean, this year was just a lot more meaningful than a lot of the previous years.
And then, of course, you had to play that teammate in the singles draw, so that was probably a little bit awkward playing Haley. I mean, how much momentum did you feel coming off that team win? It had to feel a little bit different going into the singles tournament with that team state championship than maybe it did, the past couple of years when you were still kind of, down about the team result and then had to go and compete as an individual. But what was it like this year going in there, full head of steam?
I feel like I was a lot more relaxed because, I mean, winning team states is awesome, and it really made like my entire week. So going into state singles is like, it's already been a really great time. Like, just play, just have some fun.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of gravy at that point.
Yeah, when you have that confidence after winning all those matches, it's just so much fun to continue to be out there and keep performing on the court. So really proud of you, Emily, and just reflect now that you've finished off your just incredible high school career. Reflect on these last few years and just the journey that you've been on, winning that state title freshman year, coming up short a couple times to Lucy Beckham, then getting them in that senior showdown, in that final opportunity to get yourself back to state and winning it.
So it's honestly really sad that my high school career is over. With my teammate Haley, when we started playing first doubles on Saturday. We played very, very well, but it was also very, very sad because we knew it was our last high school match together. And over these past few years, we fought against Lucy Beckham, coming up short 4-3 and 4-3. And coming in this season and winning 4-1 was just awesome. I'm really proud of my teammates for stepping up and really doing their job. And that meant so much to me as a senior, because I'm like, I held my spot that day. I lost mine. But knowing that my teammates were there and put in the work, it made me smile, and it made even that day one of the best high school days of my life.
And you, of course, are not done yet, going on to play at West Point and attend, West Point. So a little bit of a non-traditional route. I mean, that's not, the path for everyone. I'm interested to hear in why you chose to go that route and go to West Point, which is, a terrific opportunity for you, obviously. But I think people would be interested to know about the thought process there.
I have visited quite a few times, and at first I was like, all right, let's go see. I didn't really know much about this, and I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
So I went up for my official visit, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the team. I loved the girls. They're so nice, and I love how they all had bigger goals than tennis, but
Mm-hmm.
they all had their tennis team as a family to help them get them through everything. And I just love the foundation and everything that they had going for them. And I also needed to kind of adjust and be like, all right, like, yes, I love the tennis team, but it is Army. I need to see if I like everything else about it. So I went up for a camp for a week last spring, and it had nothing to do with tennis, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the sergeants that were in charge of us. I loved the setups. I love the people there, and I just feel like my personality is really going to fit in, and I loved it a lot more than other schools.
Very
What
excited for you.
you mentioned there that sorry, Wes, just wanted to follow up real quick on that. You mentioned there that they all have bigger dreams beyond tennis. I'm guessing you related to that because you do too. Tell us a little bit about those dreams beyond tennis.
I'm not quite sure exactly what I want to do. However, I do love tennis, but I just feel like I just want to do something maybe a little bit more helpful or more meaningful to me or to others past college. And I'm not quite sure what that is. And I'm really grateful for tennis because tennis is getting me these opportunities. But going into college and going past college, I'm not really focused on tennis. I just want to do something, I guess.
West Point will prepare you to be the best at whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
And I think big things are in store for you, Emily, whatever you decide to do. But just reflect on what tennis has taught you to be able to have those qualities in your back pocket to succeed in whatever endeavor you choose to do next, and what the game has taught you, and what life lessons have you learned from your many years playing the sport.
Over the past few years, my biggest thing is my friendships. Tennis has taught me all my friendships, and it has also taught me patience. But my biggest thing is I have so many friends over the past few years that I absolutely love playing with, and I've played with sisters who have graduated to kids my age, and I just love going to tournaments and being like, oh, let's go talk to her. Let's go talk to her. Like, even Brooke Rogers, who I played in the final, I'm so excited to see her tomorrow for this senior all-star game. She has been one of my friends for the past few years. We've played doubles, and even though she beat me last year and I beat her this year, even though we are competitive and we both want to win, it's just so nice having friends. And just it's just not, I mean, it's just not really, it is about tennis, but it's just so much more fun going in and be like, I love these girls, I love what I do, and tennis has just taught me that.
And kind of following up on that, who are some of the other people, teammates, or even opponents who have left the biggest mark on you?
A few of the girls that have probably left a lot on me was probably Sydney Hall and Madeline Pulitzer. I know both of them very, very well. I've played tournaments with them back in the past. I think I played with Sydney Hall for the first time when I was 9. And she was one of the team captains my freshman year when we won states. And she loved all of us. She was so kind. She always was prepared for everybody. She always had the biggest smile on her face. And I really wanted to be just like her as the captain after she left.
So who's going to be the kid that follows in your footsteps and steps up to be that leader going forward?
I'm hoping Haley Poplin. She's got 2 more years. She loves the team just as much as I do. And then maybe even after that, my younger sister, who's in 8th.
Yeah. I thought you might go there.
Yeah, Alyssa with a great season, playing 5th singles for the rest of the year and down the stretch, and she was outstanding. And another young woman who on your team really impressed me with her medal in a few really hard-fought matches, Courtney Costo pulling out that big-time tiebreaker win to seal it against Lucy Beckham twice this year. Tell me about what she has done to improve her game and the mark that she has left on this team.
So in the previous year, last year, she was a little injured, so she didn't get to play all of her region matches. However, she loved our team and she put in all of the work in the past year to really come out and be like, this is what I want. And she really proved herself this year. She's like, I'm going to do this no matter what. So going after losing to the Lucy Beckham girl away and having to play her again, I was very proud of her for stepping up her game and going like, she was never defeated. She was never scared to go out there. She knew today's the day that I'm going to beat her. And I was, that whole mindset was amazing. And I was really impressed because it takes a special young lady to be able to just be positive, be happy, and just go out there and play. And I'm very, very proud of her.
You mentioned the work ethic and the mindset there too, critical things. I think if you want to become a next level athlete, what are some of the things that you would pass on to people who are maybe looking up to you and saying, I want to go play, my sport at the Division I level? What can you, impart to them about what it's going to take to get there?
One, I feel like you need to love the sport. You need to make sure that you're finding fun in it and you're finding friends, because that's a big part of it. If you want to be able to keep playing, you need to love the sport. Two, I feel like mindset wise, you're not going to win every match. You got to go out there and be like, sometimes especially college, you're going to be playing your spot for your team. It's not going to be tournaments where it's just you. You're going to be playing for other people too. And you need to not only find fun in it, but also be able to be patient and make sure your mindset's great and move on from every point, even if it's not going the way you want it to.
I'm getting kind of emotional because, Emily, you were one of our first interviews back when you were a freshman, when you guys won that state title in 2019. Just so proud of what you have done over the rest of your career. And just tell me what you have done both physically, mentally, on and off the court to get yourself to this point after winning that 2019 state championship and all the adversity that you had to go through to get to this point now on top of both team and individual for South Carolina.
I feel like I've gone through a lot, especially with all the different girls. I'm really close to all of them. We all hang out outside of tennis, and I feel like over these past few years we've really become a family, and it's sad that this was my last year, but I'm also really proud of them. And I just feel like one of the biggest difference was we went out there Saturday and everybody had a smile on their face and everybody really wanted to be there. And I just feel like that's what a team is.
How excited are you to play basketball this winter and continue your athletic career as a Seahawk?
I'm excited to play. I love the basketball girls. I'm not very good at basketball. However, it's a lot of fun, and it's just different. And I mean, it helps with my footwork for tennis. So it's nice to go out there and just have another team sport. Because I mean, I love the Seahawks, and I want to keep playing.
And it's a little bit different dynamic. I mean, tennis is a team sport, but you're out there on an island by yourself, and basketball is a little bit different. So I'm sure you enjoy also, not having to be the star and the leader who has to carry the weight, but getting to be a role player on a team and see it from that perspective is probably valuable too.
Yeah, it's fun to sometimes be the cheerleader on the bench with basketball. And I like watching the girls. I like how they have to work together. And I just feel like there's so many different things about basketball that I can learn that just aren't in tennis. So it's just really interesting to me.
Yeah, the footwork, the quickness, a lot of those traits are very similar between tennis and basketball. And a lot of things you can probably take away from that as you grow your tennis career.
Yeah.
And just seeing the court, seeing the spaces in the court, you're probably pretty good at that, visualizing where people are going to be. So
I'm better at
all right. Well,
Sweet.
You're better at what? I'm sorry.
Defense than I am at offense.
Defense is all hustle. I mean, that's all effort. I mean, it's I'm impressed, but more so by people who can play good defense and offense, because that 100% of defense is your effort and your intensity and your hard work. So that's a staple in basketball. If you can play good defense, that travels wherever you go. And sometimes offense, you hit some shots one day, and sometimes you don't. But if you can play defense, it normally translates everywhere you go. So always great to have a solid defender on your basketball team.
Congratulations so much to Emily. Like Wes said, it's been really cool to watch your growth and your journey, and you have to feel really fortunate too to have grown up here on Hilton Head, and you've watched kids come from all over the country to train here and have access to what we have here, and you've had it at your fingertips and taken advantage of it. So congratulations to you for making the most of what was in front of you and reaching your goals. We're really proud of you, and you're a great rep of the Lowco.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Emily, and we'll definitely keep tabs with you going forward. We can't wait to see what you do up at West Point. Thanks so much to Emily Ruckno. We'll be right back with more here on LowcoSports Lowdown.
Wes, it all comes full circle. Emily was one of our very first interviews back when we were still fighting the technology and didn't really know what we were doing here. And I had to record that one twice because somehow it didn't record the first time. But I'll never forget that. She was so gracious about it in such an awkward situation. And we did it again, and it was just as good, if not better, the second time. And, it's been phenomenal to watch her grow up and see her, out and about and say hi to her and just watch her progress. I mean, when she played in Mount Pleasant in the 18, nationals this summer and had such a good run, her dad and I were texting back and forth every day and fired up about it. And now she's going off to West Point, and she's going to do phenomenal things. She hasn't figured out quite what it is yet, but she's going to do something phenomenal when her tennis days are done, and we're going to be really proud of whatever it is.
Just so proud of Emily Ruckno, and what an opportunity it has been, and what a pleasure it's been to follow her throughout her last 4 years. The first athlete I've been able to say that for, really, and got to talk to her back as a young freshman who was kind of still navigating that jump to the high school level. And now look at her, a clean sweep to finish out her senior year, checked all the boxes that she could, winning the state championship as a team and then state singles this year. Just so proud of all that she has accomplished. And what a great kid, what a great young woman, always brings that positive attitude, that effort to all that she does, and really has continued to raise the bar with her game each year. And, she wanted that state singles title so badly after a couple runner-up and third place finishes in the past, and she gets it done her last year. And just so cool to talk with her again as a senior. I don't know where things will take her from here at West Point, but what a fantastic institution to prepare her for what lies ahead. And I think she is going to have major success in whatever she does going forward. Certainly has left her mark in the Lowco, and just cannot wait to see what she accomplishes next.
Yeah, West Point tends to do good work with born leaders, and Emily Ruckno is a born leader. So, I think they're going to mold her into something really special. And I think she's going to excel on the tennis court as well, because she just has that insatiable work ethic and desire to get better and never be satisfied. And, that's definitely going to carry over. So shout out to the parents too, of these signees, because they really made a lot of sacrifices and put a lot into it as well. And David and Kelly Ruckno have become friends, and they've done a terrific job raising their kids. Alex doing a great job as well, and Alyssa, one of the next generation of leaders for that tennis team. So congratulations to all those parents.
And speaking of parents, love to see all the student athletes thanking their parents when they gave their speeches during the signing day ceremony. And very emotional, heartfelt messages of what those parents have meant to them. All the miles logged in the car, going to tournaments, going to college events. It's meant so much to these kids, and just love to see how grateful they were of what they've done for them to get them to this point.
Absolutely. Yeah. The pride on the parents' face and the appreciation from the kids makes it all worth it. So, well, Wes, let's bring this thing in for a landing and name our teams of the week. And we're running out of teams, but we got a state champ to talk about, and we got some cross country teams still going. So I think we can manage. Where are you going with your pick?
I think I have to go with the state champion girls tennis team from Hilton Head High, my alma mater. And once again, so proud of these young ladies for bringing the state title back to the island. And those last 2 years stung for Ruckno and for that team. And they found the strength this time around and pushed each other. I just love that. All the words of encouragement that we've seen, the Let's Go Seahawks throughout these matches, everybody pulling each other on, whether or not they're on the court. You just love to see that, and that camaraderie and that teamwork and that combined excellence really helped this group shine above the rest this year. So, and they're able to get over that hump with Lucy Beckham and then finish the job over in Florence. And Courtney Costa really emphasized that resilience that this team showed in those home matches with Lucy Beckham. Haley Poplin with a massive come-from-behind win that Beckham match as well. If she loses that, I'm not sure the Seahawks would be where they are now, because I thought the Beckham Bengals really would have the edge in those doubles matches. And speaking doubles, all the way down to that doubles team for Hilton Head of Jessica Stager and Haley Cruz, who put the final punctuation on an unforgettable season. So, what Stager and Cruz did and the job that they showed on the court to gut it out and dig deep and pull out that clinching victory. Just so happy for those two who have put in, everybody's put in the work, but I just love to see those other girls aside from those top stars playing singles, that doubles team, because they're a part of this team. Those points mean equally as much as anybody else. And to be able to pull out that doubles match to clinch it was just what a special feeling for those two, and certainly well deserved. So congratulations to Jennifer Whitekamp for yet another state championship for her, and for those Seahawks back on top in 2022.
Heck yeah, that's awesome stuff. And I didn't get out to any matches, but I just enjoyed watching the videos that you sent over and seeing the excitement they showed for each other. The celebrations were great, and really proud of those girls for pulling through and getting it done. And I've got to give my team of the week to their compatriots, the boys cross country team over there, winning their heat. And you talk about the depth and how important that 4th and 5th and 6th runner are. Hilton Head was head to head with Wade Hampton from Greenville, and they had 3 of the top 8 finishers. So, it's looking bleak for Hilton Head, which has 9, 11, and 14. But then the last 2 spots in the lineup, they pick up 10 and 21 to overtake them by 12 or 8 points rather. And then they had them by 24 in the number 6 spot. So that 6 spot could really come into play, because that's the tiebreaker if you end up tied after 5. And Hilton Head showing off some really good depth there. You talk a lot about the top of the lineup guys with Foon and Gilman, but it's the other guys who really carry you. Miles Brown, coming through with a 17:31 as a senior, giving it all he's got in his last couple of races here. And then the sophomore Cohen Smith and another senior Aiden Patterson finishing out the scoring, and Drake Edmonds, another sophomore, right behind him. So they've got some depth in there. If one guy's not feeling real great, somebody else can step up and take their place. So I really like their chances to be in the top 3 for sure, and I think they've got a chance to push for the state championship, because Greenville on the other side is kind of similarly structured. They've got a couple of dominant runners, and then 3 kind of middle of the pack guys who are going to be fighting for position. So I think it's going to be a heck of a fight for that state championship.
Yeah, I think Hilton Head has a real chance here, and I think it all comes down to the depth of those 4, 5, 6, that tier of runners to be able to come through and stave off the competition, because obviously it's great to have that high-end talent, but when you're able to have that strong depth at the bottom of your roster of runners, I mean, that is everything. When you're able to beat out that one guy to get yourself the extra point, you never know how big that could mean in the end, in the final picture of these standings. So, it takes everybody to be on the same page, even though it's not a sport where you're playing on the same field, you're seeing each other. Everybody still has to push each other, and you still have to have that camaraderie and teamwork, even though you're not seeing each other while you're competing. So as you said, a kind of different dynamic in terms of that teamwork, but I still think it's a thing in cross country, and the Hilton Head Seahawks have shown it. Just love what they did, and having that depth. I mean, 5 different runners with scoring 29 points or less, and just speaks to the strong depth across this team. I mean, Caden Thune, J.D. Gilman, and Miles Brown all have top 15 finishes in that heat, but you look at what Cohen Smith did, a sub-18, Aiden Patterson, 1807, and Drake Edmonds. So to all those guys inside the top 31, those 6 runners, and then you got Bryce Broom, who could be a key factor as well if he has a nice day. But yeah, I mean, you look at that tier with Cohen Smith, Aiden Patterson, Drake Edmonds. I really think that's going to be the difference in this meet. I think you're going to get some good times and strong, solid performances from those top guys to give yourself a chance. And then it's all the question of, can those number 4, number 5, number 6 runners, number 6, of course, the tiebreaker, and it's sometimes even possible that some of those that number 6 runner can beat out somebody and make their score worse and allow Hilton Head to surge upwards. So I mean, there's a lot of factors in play in these meets, and we'll see what Hilton Head can do. But I think that the chance is there for the Seahawks to have a special day on Saturday over in the state championship meets. So we wish good luck to the Seahawks, and great to see that program on the rise again. Had some fantastic years in the past when, of course, Bill Wrightson was there, and of course, Seahawks were absolute powerhouses with both the boys and the girls program. So great to see Hilton Head boys back in contention for a state championship, and wish them luck on Saturday.
Yeah, and I like the way their lineup sets up too, because they got 3 guys that are within about 15 seconds of each other who can kind of pace and pull each other. And then they've got another 3 guys who are within about 15 to 20 seconds of other who kind of pace and pull each other. So, it works out well for strategy. You can, you're going to stay together for a mile, and then if you feel good, you got to go, or 2 miles or whatever. And you can kind of push each other to be in the right position. So I like their chances. They should be well positioned, and you never know who catches a root or turns an ankle or pulls something. There's a lot of factors, like you said, at play on race day, and things can really get turned upside down in a hurry. So should be a great weekend for cross country, and that should do it for our show today. Wes, thanks so much to Emily Ruckno for once again spending some time with us and for being just an inspiration and a terrific representative of the Lowco. Thanks to our sponsors who make this happen, and thanks, of course, to those of you who listen and watch every week. We keep coming back because you do too. So thanks for tuning in for this one, and until next time, go Lowco.